This week, we're discussing the potential first details for the PlayStation 6. This is the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. I'm your host, Spencer, and with me is a man who spent all night running the calculations to figure out if it's bad that a game that requires no swimming doesn't allow you to swim. It's my co-host, Mike. Mike, where'd we net out on this?
I think damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say. I did have a snarky comeback. I guess the constitutionalist in me is mad that I don't have freedom of choice, even if I don't need it.
That's crazy, because you of all people, when it comes to games and unnecessary bloat, you're the one who says get rid of it all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I thought this discourse would be right up your alley of what the fuck are people annoyed about?
Well, that's what went through my head first, but
Yeah.
you always set me up for these things, so I figure I might as well at least try.
Sure, no.
Instead of just jumping right to the conclusion.
I appreciate that. I appreciate a little effort. So
what are people mad about? Enlighten me.
People are mad that in the new Mafia game,
PS3
which you say looks like a PS3 game, which is an argument that people use that I think confirms that they don't know what a PS3 game looks like.
Good news is it's PS3 game price, so can't be too mad about it.
There you go. The game is linear, which I did not realize. So I can understand. I can understand having small gripes about that if you appreciated the open world aspects of other Mafia games. But regardless, linear game, at no point does it require you to swim. People would jump into the water and were mad to find out that they can't swim. And instead it kind of just like zaps you back. It does like one of those types of animations.
There's some cultural undertones there, I suppose.
What, that Italians don't know how to swim?
Yeah. And considering that this takes place in Sicily, right?
Yes.
Yeah, considering they're surrounded by water. Seems like it'd be a good skill to have. I'm allowed to say this. My wife's Italian.
Yeah.
She can swim-ish.
Yeah, you know that age-old excuse of, don't worry, I can say this because of my wife.
I've got friends that can't swim.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's giving. I have one friend. Yeah, it's crazy that people are finding it. It's the typical. It's of course online, you know. So I think if you walked up to a random person on the street, one, they'd be like, "What's a video game?" And two, they wouldn't care about this shit, but because of the world we live in and the online aspect, I think so many people would have so much more fun in life if they just enjoyed the things that they enjoyed rather than getting mad about things that they just already don't care about.
Have they started review bombing yet?
I haven't looked that deep into it.
You can swim in Ghost of Tsushima, so like
pop off.
Yeah.
A non-linear game.
Death Stranding 2?
I don't know. I don't know if Death Stranding 2 has a ton of water in it, but I would imagine if it's there, you can probably swim through it. I'm also sure you haven't seen, but just kind of going in
presumptuous.
Yeah, it is. So, you know, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. But for your sake, I hope I'm right. I sent you Gene Park's review for Mind's Eye, right?
Yes.
He was getting ripped.
Nothing but great things to say
about. Yeah. He was getting ripped apart by somebody who was saying that, like, yeah, Gene had a pretty harsh takedown of the game, which seems justified from everything I've seen. But, you know, I think he was like he was going for like the windmill dunks on it, which was great. And yeah, he was getting berated with like keyboard warriors who were trying to say that he was being like super unprofessional. But I was like, no, I think I think everything that he did was like very professional. He could have said this game is dog shit, and instead he was like, this is a game that doesn't care about you or your time. And it's like, damn, go get him. And it's just like the one person who was arguing back and forth with him, Gene was like, just answer me this. Have you played the game? And they were like, I've put 3 hours into it. And he's like, fuck out of here then. He's like, I played the entire game. I platinumed it. Like, I gave the care and attention to this game that it couldn't give me. And I was just like, yeah, he can't miss this guy.
Yeah. Sounds like a Shania Twain song.
I'm sure Gene would be honored by that.
He should be.
Yeah, I am sure he would. Yeah. Man. It's just crazy. So many people would just like go to bat for shit that they like haven't played. They go to bat for one thing or the other, whether it's for a game that they haven't played to try and defend it, or to attack a game that they haven't played, to just dunk on something that they don't like about it. And it's just like, what a waste of time and energy.
Yeah. Wow. I hope people are playing the game then. Maybe it'll get some updates. Maybe it'll get the Cyberpunk treatment if their player base goes up because everyone's mad at Gene Park.
Maybe. That was another thing I've seen, is that a lot of people are very annoyed that Cyberpunk keeps getting this treatment of like, because Cyberpunk is an objectively very good game, and it just it just released in bad circumstances, really. Like, they should have just never released it for PS4 and like that generation. They should have released, which is impossible to say this, but they should have just released it for PC and then next gen, or wait until next gen, which again, easier said than done. So yeah, it was just bad timing, really, more than anything. And like, you look at it, it's a really good game. Mind's Eye is not going to get that treatment. Like, it's not going to get updates. It's not going to No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is technically probably the better like thing, because again, Cyberpunk is and probably was already a good game. It just bad release circumstances. I don't think Mind's Eye was ever a good game, is the issue.
Build a Rocket Boy and IO Interactive. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. And then they had like pretty much laid everyone off after the release. So yeah, it's not getting anything.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It's the guy from. He was like a former Rockstar person, but apparently there's good reason for why he was a former Rockstar person and not still there.
Yeah.
But I don't know obviously all the details. So, but yeah, kind of, I think, ran with that like resume, which plenty of people do. And so, like, a lot of games, I think, can drum up hype. I was excited for Mind's Eye the first time we saw it. I was like, it looks a little bare in spots, but overall, I could see this being like a really like fun game. And boy, am I happy I did not buy it day one.
Yeah. So when did it? I really thought this came out like way earlier. I think I even sent to you.
Yeah, you said. Yeah, you said this is a 6-month-old game.
Yeah,
which it does
quite, but
does feel like it. It does feel like an eternity, but yeah, I mean, technically 2 months. Which again is another thing somebody tried to throw in Gene's face, like, oh, you're just dunking on a game that everybody has known is bad by like writing this review 2 months later. And he was like, again, I took my time with the game. I gave it like. So funny.
Yeah, you definitely got to give him credit for that.
It's so funny that's always what Gene does. He always gives like a ton of time. So a lot of times his reviews end up coming out a little like, I'll air quotes delayed, in terms of, but he also writes for what newspaper? Washington Post.
Yeah.
He's not making YouTube. He's not making a YouTube career off of reviews. He's not working for IGN, like a game specific. He's working for the Washington Post's gaming subdivision. They aren't staying propped up, by like timely video game reporting, right? They're going to be if anything, it's going to be propped up by good, video game reporting. So anyway, pop off Gene. He's my fave. What games have you been playing? let's do a hard
Boy,
pivot.
do I have a loop to throw you in.
All right, I'm ready.
So I just want to say,
get strapped in here. All right.
Yeah, get strapped on and you good?
Yep. I'm lubed and ready.
Okay. I started Super Mario Sunshine.
I'm shaking.
I don't know how far I am. Boy, do I have a lot to say. First of all, controls, absolute dog shit.
Oh, yeah. I was so ready for that.
I literally did like the first level and I looked at Justine and said, I can't play this. I also had to like change a bunch of settings on my TV to make it like 4:3 and like I had to take it off gaming mode because it was just completely like blurry.
Oh, yeah.
I really need to move it. I have a smaller TV in my office and I really need to play it on that, I think. That or next time I go see my parents, I'm gonna go see if they have like a CRT TV in their attic somewhere.
Hell yeah.
Because it is bad. Like it is borderline unplayable.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to it. Like when you start an old game, you're like, holy fuck, this is terrible. And then you play it for an hour or two and you're like, all right, I'm getting the feel for it.
Yes. Literally
I'm like
every game we play.
Yeah. I'm like starting to get into that groove, but
yeah.
So that was the first thing I had to say. The second thing I had to say, this is my third attempt at playing this game. We rented it from Blockbuster Video when we were younger. We played it then. And then we didn't play through it. I think we had the same issue that I'm about to explain. And then I bought it, I don't know, 15 years ago. Which, funny enough, on the case, I bought it for $2. I went into a retro game shop this week, and it's selling for like $60.
Yep.
So, pretty good rate of return.
Good job.
And so I bought it and I started it 15 years ago, whatever. And I did the first level and didn't know what to do. And that's what happened the first time I played it too. Like I was just kind of in Delfino Square and I didn't really know where to go. Started playing it this time. Did the first level. Came back into Delfino Square and I had no fucking idea what to do. I'm just running around and I'm like, this is terrible. Like I don't get this game. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go back to the first like level that you jump into and just like see if there's anything there that I missed. Turns out there's more levels. Imagine that. So this 25-year-old mystery of mine. Guess that's too much. 21-year-old mystery of mine. I finally figured out there's more levels in Super Mario Sunshine. The thing I don't miss about old games, zero guidance whatsoever.
Old games love to not hold your hand or to, in a fleeting statement, give you the piece of information that you need. That if you blink, you miss it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's something.
Yeah. So I can't say I'm enjoying myself.
I think in fairness, that's how all of those Mario games work. And I don't know how you're supposed to know that. Because I'm thinking back to to Super Mario 64, you jump into the paintings. You jump into the painting, you pop out. You're supposed to jump back in because there's another star to get within the painting, And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really explained when I like stop and try to think about it. I think it's just one of those things you pick up on.
And
And
it's funny enough because I played Super Mario 64 a couple times and like was able to beat it.
Good game.
Never translated that to Super Mario Sunshine. Just never did.
No, and that's kind of fair. I mean, you can upon looking back, you can look at them and be like, yeah, these are effectively the same games. Super Mario Galaxy, lump it in there as well. But when you look at those three games from a zoomed out like sense and like aren't like, I don't know, really thinking about it, they feel so different. Like they don't seem anywhere in the same ballpark as each other.
No, I agree.
Well, I mean, I'm very happy that you're playing it. I'm so sorry that you are straight up having a terrible time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna try to get through it. It's a good thing that I'm playing it with like a brand new, like genuine GameCube controller because the amount of times I've almost spiked the thing. And like, I paid $75. It's a brand new controller in 2025. I can't do that. Dude, so there was like literally a level where all you had to do was like, it was just platforming. Like you get your whatever the water thing is, that gets stolen from you, and it's literally just platforming.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like, I think it's again because I'm using a newer TV, like the jump lag was just so bad. And I was just like falling off the edge.
Ugh.
And then another thing about older games that makes me just want to absolutely end it all is when you run out of lives, you have to like go all the way back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And navigating this game is not something I'm enjoying, not something I want to do. So yeah, it's an experience.
Well, I mean, by no means feel like you need to finish it, like,
Well, just because you said that.
Give it the old college try, and whenever you hit your breaking point and it's no longer for you, it's no longer for you. And there's no shame in that.
It was literally, I started playing this the other night, and I got to that platforming level, and I fell off, and it said I ran out of lives, and I had to go back to the beginning. I literally stood up, turned it off, looked at Justine and said, I'm not playing this game. And then I just sat there and boiled for 15 minutes. I stood up,
sat there,
turned
and
the
sulked.
GameCube back on. Yep. Turned the GameCube back on, beat the level. Played for another half an hour, probably. Yeah, what an experience.
Good stuff. That's good stuff.
And what really annoys me is like, I remember playing this when this game came out, and like how all like it's just a completely revolutionary game. Like I think that game felt so next gen to me, and that was before I even knew what that meant. Like as a kid, and now I'm like, I really wish I would have just played this back then.
Yeah, I
saw videos of people playing like the remaster on Switch. I'm like, I probably should have just played that version.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's still not like, because that's the most recent way I played it. So I don't really know how much it differs from technically the original, because it is really just a port more than anything. But
yeah, the controls are tough.
Yeah, which like isn't. I mean, it's Nintendo, so are you surprised?
I guess not. It can't be anywhere near as frustrating as Luigi's Mansion, so far it's not. It's just camera control kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Depth is a little tough, but
it
is what it is. So yeah, started playing that. I don't know how far I'm in, maybe an hour or two. I'm literally just gonna rip through the levels. I'm not exploring. I'm not doing anything. I'm just literally gonna rip through it. Started that, and then I went down a weird internet rabbit hole this week, which I know is a concerning thing for somebody to start a statement with. And I learned about a series from PlayStation called The Getaway. Are you familiar?
I am not.
Okay. So there's 3 games. There's 2 for the PS2, The Getaway and The Getaway, I forget what the subtitle is. And then there was one for the PSP called Gangs of London. And I don't know what prompted me to find this game. I remember hearing about them a long time ago, and then like I think PS3 or PS4 era, I don't remember. They were making another game, and we had gotten some like previews of it at E3 or whatever, and it looked really good. Like it's basically GTA.
Okay.
That got canceled. But so I went down this rabbit hole and decided I'm gonna try to find the game. So I got it for PSP. So playing that on my PSP Go, which is just a wonderful experience. I started playing Gangs of London this week, so that's the end of that story, or not the end of that story, but the moral of that story is that I also played Gangs of London on PSP, so that was kind of not something I had anticipated. A lot of fun, just like core PSP game.
Hell yeah.
And then I said, I should go try to find the 2 PS2 games as well. So I went to a local game shop by me, and they didn't have it. And then we were traveling this weekend, and there's a local game store where we tend to travel, and I decided to go in there, and they had both copies I was looking for, and picked those up for like $10 each. So I did some retro game shopping, and I'm gonna maybe start this series at some point here. But yeah, it was London Studios, I think. I can't remember if they did all 3 games. I think maybe they didn't do the first one and then they picked it up, but it was always under like PlayStation Studios. Well, PlayStation Studios didn't exist, but PlayStation first party.
Yeah, I'm looking more at it. Team Soho at the time, which then became London Studio.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, I think so. Which I'm trying to see if it was London Studio already. It might have actually already been. Oh yeah, it says Team Soho went defunct in 2008. Hmm. Very interesting. Yeah, and there it is. The Getaway 3 for PlayStation 3 canceled. Huh. I'm gonna have to add this to my list.
Yeah, I figured it was worth checking out.
I actually went to my list to see, like, do I have it on there already? Do I actually have this game? Very cool. I love that you're playing the one on the PSP Go too. I gotta get my PSP Go some love.
It's just like I'm remembering like how good and like bite-sized the games were. Like the levels don't take long.
Yeah.
Like I can literally take a 10-minute break and do a level.
Yeah, that's nice.
The controls aren't difficult. Well, they're strange, but
Better than Super Mario
you kind of
Sunshine.
remember. Yeah, probably.
Very cool. That's definitely out of left field. Yeah, you really got me in the spin zone today.
Yeah, I don't really know where that one came from, but I went down, like I said, the rabbit hole and remembered The Getaway, and Said, oh, I should probably try to find that. I
Very
was
fun.
hoping it would be like on the PlayStation Store, but PlayStation doesn't seem too fond of doing that kind of stuff.
It is interesting because you would think that it would actually maybe be one of those like PS2 classics brought forward onto like the PlayStation Plus catalog and all that. But I know they're still
well received games.
Yeah, but they're also still really slowly building out that library. I mean, like they only just added the like 4 Twisted Metals to it like a few months ago or something like that, which coincided nicely with Twisted Metal Season 2 and all that. But
yeah,
nonetheless, they don't really have a sense of urgency with these types of things.
No.
Very nice. Anything else?
No, that was it.
Very nice. Very nice.
I did travel with my Vita this weekend, just didn't play it.
Gotcha. So like
just in case I want to play Tearaway.
Yeah, the opportunity for Tearaway was there.
Yeah,
that would have been if you would have thrown in an update about how you started playing Tearaway as well. This would have been an immaculate week for you.
So I did technically like start it, if that counts for anything.
Yeah, it does.
Because I was trying to figure out what memory card my like Vita game card saves were on.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the whole roulette of like trying to figure that out, but didn't like do any meaningful gameplay.
Sure. Hey, listen, the groundwork has started. That's big. That's big.
Yep. What can I say? I just miss PlayStation Portable consoles.
Yeah, well, hey, I have a fun update for you in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
But before that, let me regale you with a tale of my journey of playing old consoles.
Oh boy.
So I got the $60 expansion pack thing for the Nintendo 64, right?
That's right.
And popped it in and was obviously nervous that it was not going to work, but it did. And so no issues. Majora's Mask boots right up. I'm like, hell yeah, this is great. Have you played Majora's Mask?
Yeah, I played it when it was on GameCube. It was on like that. There's 2 versions of Ocarina of Time and then Majora's Mask. Yeah, we played it on that.
Okay. Well, so I didn't realize Majora's Mask was like 3-day cycles and like that whole deal of like every 3 days, like basically the end time, I guess, happens. I guess we haven't actually triggered it yet, but regardless, like you have to keep going back and like replaying the same 3 days and like advancing, through various things. We didn't get that far anyway. So we were doing the intro like the first 3 days, the first loop, and you have to wait till the 3rd day because then the door to the clock tower opens. You can go up to the clock tower. And so we were waiting it out at the top of the clock tower, like waiting for the door to open. And this is like probably an hour and a half of us playing at this point, give or take. And the whole, like, I guess, cutscene to show the door opening, but because we were there, it caused the game to just break. And like freeze. And I was like, oh no, it's just loading. It's just loading. We sat there for like 2 minutes hoping that was the case. And it was not. So we had to start over. And with a sense of nervousness that like, is it the cartridge? Is it that we just like fucked up by like being ahead of the curve and that broke the game? Is it, like kind of playing that whole game of, are we going to continuously lose progress and have to like cash back up and stuff like that? Because if that's the case, then we should probably just. I'm pretty sure Majora's Mask is on the Nintendo 64 like online thing on the Switch, so it's like I'd prefer to play it on like the original hardware if we can, but obviously like it's not going to be worth it if it's going to be that much of a headache. But we got back in, we got back to where we were pretty quick because when you know what you're doing, and then you can advance time up to the final day using like these scarecrows or whatever. So anyway, but yeah, I had no idea that it was this whole like you have 3 days to like get shit done, and then go back and stuff like that. And I'm super intrigued by this mechanic and like really excited actually to dive into it even more. We just got to, I believe, the first temple or dungeon or whatever you want to call it that we're gonna go through, and yeah, I'm like already real in on this one. Think it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, that game way ahead of its time.
Super cool, and it looks like I you know I was immediately blown away with how much better it looked compared to Ocarina of Time. Like, it's staggering. And I don't know if that's like the whole like expansion pack thing, like helping to give it that extra boost of power or what. But like, I was just like stunned. I was like, this is crazy how much better it feels like this looks. So yeah, very blown away by that. And we also played Twisted Metal on the PS1 because we got the PS1 working and everything there. Yeah, played the original Twisted Metal, and you want to talk about a game that looks like just dog shit. It's just so hard to look at first. And like kind of like you were saying with Super Mario Sunshine, by the end of it, like we only played it for like 2 hours, give or take. And by the end of it, I was like, okay, I first off have a good grasp of like controls and like I actually see what I'm supposed to see for the most part now. Like, but yeah, it's real tough and very interesting game because there's no save data for Twisted Metal. It does the whole like after each level you get like a passcode to get you back to that level. That's it, really. Like there's legitimately like nothing else in it. It was only after the fact, like you choose a character, you win the tournament, and then like it gives you like a little story of like what that person. I don't know if you know how Twisted Metal works, and so for the listeners as well, like the way the tournament works is that like some freak named Calypso is running it, and if you win the tournament, you can get anything, like anything that you desire, legitimately anything you can think of. And so each character has
another
like
tournament.
Yeah, yeah, that's what. Well, the fuck ass person we were playing as like just wanted new tires or something like that, and that was the only one that we were able to like get through and win as. And it was only after the fact that we like stopped that I realized, oh, there's definitely a cheat code for like take no damage or whatever that like we could have then like just like reloaded the last level with each different person and just quickly won and like seen like the different. But that was after we had already been like, this is so fucking hard to look at, and it's not like it gives like that much of an intense story or anything like that, so we didn't really care too much. But yeah, just really funny. And I don't know if I said it last week, but like Crash Bandicoot, we like started that up just to like make sure the memory cards were working and stuff like that. Crash Bandicoot also does that. That you can save and have a save file, but it also gives passcodes instead. And I'm like, this is crazy because this feels like arcade era, right? Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but like this feels like we're at a point in time where like save should just be like a automatic assumption. I don't know. It's just very funny and like also weird at the same time to just kind of be thrown for such a loop that I guess they weren't forcing you to have proprietary memory. Like you could just like keep playing a game and not need it as long as you had a fucking notebook and pen.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's really funny. In early college, so over 10 years ago now, I decided to play Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation 1. And it's so funny because every now and then, I'm assuming Apple Photos does this, but like, do you get like memories from your photo app?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So every now and then I get like on this day in 2014 or whatever, and it's just like a picture of the code. Like I just have like a book of pictures of codes for Crash Bandicoot.
That's so funny. Yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know. I just felt like that just feels so old, and the PS1 doesn't feel that old to me for whatever reason. And so like,
I mean, it had memory cards, so why would it?
right,
You know?
right. So I don't know, but yeah, very very funny. But again, Crash does also just have save, so
Yeah.
we will be using that. But yeah, and then other than that, just been playing a lot of Persona 3, getting close to the end of that, I think. And Shelby and I have also been playing a ton of Minecraft, and
Yeah.
that has been really hitting. We like first booted it up, and I was like, I felt fatigue immediately, like starting a new world and everything like that. I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. But like pushed past it a little bit, and like I'm in. Like it's so much fun. Such an easy game to go back to. And there was like a whole there was a new like PS5 version of it. So comes with a new trophy list and everything like that. And so like it's nice to like it's nice because the trophy list kind of gives you like tasks effectively, because in a game that kind of just has no like rules or anything like that, it's kind of sometimes hard to like think about like what it is that you want to do next. So it's nice to kind of have that as like a roadmap for like things to do. And there's like 20 expansion packs worth of like additional trophies of like things to work towards. So like plenty of stuff to work on.
I'm a long way from just trying to make Java work on a school laptop.
Brother, you're telling me. Long way from sitting in study hall and being called to the tech office to have my laptop taken and wiped because I was playing
No, they
Minecraft.
came and got your ass.
Oh, that's right. They came directly up to me.
Like, how did
Yeah.
they know?
Yeah. Rip.
It's a core memory for me.
Yeah.
Sitting in the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah, they did get my ass. And then I never did anything illegal ever again.
Yeah, they taught you.
Anyway, don't check my Vitas. All right. Or my PSP Go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I kind of just like outwardly said I wanted to get Gangs of London on my PSP Go,
Yeah.
which keeping track at home, store no longer exists.
Well, it's because you have your old UMD disc thing
Yeah.
for it that you then dumped responsibly,
Yeah.
like you're supposed
Mhm.
to, and then put it onto a cartridge that allows you to play it on your PSP Go. Of course, we all know that's what you did. Anyway, let's
Yep,
talk
100%.
about the PlayStation 6 finally. Want to preface some of this just up front. A lot of this information is from, make sure I get the name of the YouTube channel right. Moore's Law is Dead. He covers a lot of leaks, specifically around tech and specs and stuff like that. And he actually almost 2 weeks ago now put out a video, discussing what some of the potential specs are going to be for the next generation of PlayStation consoles, and that's consoles plural, because there seems to be not only a true console, but also a handheld to go along with it. From everything that he was saying, this seems to be a situation where like the the PS6 is again like the console, and this handheld, which is codenamed Canis right now, is effectively like think like the Series S. So think of how Xbox did their Series line of consoles with the Series X and the Series S. The PS6 is the Series X in this situation, with the handheld as like a even like lower barrier of entry for people to get to the next gen. I am not by any means super knowledgeable when it comes to like the actual specs that are discussed. So like, let me see if I can pull up some of these real quick. Like when it, I don't know if you're probably not quite the same way. But like when it's talking about Zen 6 cores, and like specifically that Orion, the home console version, is going to have 8 Zen 6 cores or later. I don't know what any of that shit means. Is 8 a lot? Is 8 good? I don't really care. But what I do know is that he puts it into more simple terms. And from a performance perspective, the estimate is that the PS6 is going to be roughly 3 times what the PS5 is. And then with like ray tracing, that's going to push it even further. And the really interesting thing is that the handheld is expected to be roughly half of the performance of the PS5. Again, ray tracing potentially there to push it, ahead. And the interesting thing about the half as powerful or half the performance of the PS5 is that apparently Sony is working on a low power mode for the PS5, which he is kind of assuming that that's them giving devs a target for what the PS6 handheld's performance is going to be, and will give you the ability to still run PS5 games, but just utilizing less power. So I don't know if that just would equate to like load times being longer, and I don't know what else.
Probably
right?
lower frame rate, lower graphic fidelity, things like that.
Yeah. So again, I'm not like super in touch with when it comes to like those like RDNA compute units and Zen cores and stuff like that. But the stuff that really stands out
it's all just AMD like
right jargon. I think more often than not it's just find the similar number for PS5 specs or for comparable, and is it more? And if the answer is yes, then like that kind of starts to give you an idea. But some of the stuff that I think is like much easier to digest, he goes into that as right now there's backwards compatibility for PS5 and PS4 generations. He specifically calls out no mention of PS3. I kind of feel like that just goes without saying at this point. Like I just like if you're a PlayStation fan, like I think you're just better off assuming that you're never going to play PS3 games. Like
you're not.
So it's just safer to assume that rather than get your hopes up. The really cool thing about this is he goes on to talk about how like PlayStation is really hoping to keep this console cheap, in air quotes. So there's a real possibility that this console is going to be cheaper than what a PS5 Pro is actually going for. There's no like true known number. He's like he throws out like $399 isn't gonna probably be a thing, but $499 is probably what they're gonna be trying to aim for. So you're talking about a console that's 3 times as powerful as the PS5, but is for all purposes going to be cheaper. It feels like he equates it to their approach with the PS4. PS3 had a lot of backlash with like the pricing there. PS4 had was very focused on providing improvements while also being like cost effective, right? Like obtainable, we'll say. So it seems like that's going to be the general approach. He was also pulling up like data that suggests that roughly 50% of people who were in the PS4 ecosystem haven't made the jump to PS5 yet, which is insane. So this is like that's like their approach to trying to pull those people forward. And then you also add in the potential for this handheld, which we can get into in a second. But just jump from the jump, talking about the home console, which is codenamed Orion. What are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think to touch on your point that a lot of people haven't jumped from PS4 to PS5, there really isn't a compelling reason to do so.
Right.
I mean, there's a very small library of games that can only be played on PS5. Like, yes, there's a lot that are some degree of better. Whether or not that's really measurable, I think is, you know, really up to debate. Um, but I think it makes sense that it's not going to be, a $1,200 machine. I think that the PS5. So my perception of this is the PS6 is what the PS5 should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we've kind of stated this before, but the PS5 really just feels like a mid-generation upgrade. Like it feels like that's what the PS4 Pro should have been.
Mm-hmm.
I understand like the big thing is the storage and the load times, and that's all like next gen, but that one feature I don't think should make an entirely new generation. So I think Sony is gonna kind of do some catch up. And I think like people are going to play the PlayStation 6 and it's actually going to feel like a new generation. And
Mm-hmm.
again, like the point of building a console is to make it accessible for people. I
Right.
mean, if you want a PlayStation, it's going to be the same price as a PC, then no one's going to buy the PlayStation. What's the point?
Right. You'd be better off having the options.
Yeah. So I think while it is more like they're saying 3 times more powerful, I think that pretty much just puts it up to par with what it should be.
Right.
And possibly what it should have been 6 years ago. So yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be much more expensive than the PS5. I think it's going to kind of prove that the PS5 probably should just never happen, but weird times.
I think it kind of all also makes sense when you just think about like the cycle of tech and how it goes. That like you can maybe just drum it up too that like the PS5 was just like the that generation of consoles was just kind of at like the wrong time where like there wasn't enough advancement
Right.
possible to still keep it even affordable, right? So they did what they could to make it affordable, which wasn't like measurable jumps. Whereas now, think about how much we've like pushed forward, right? That like this isn't even going to be pushing the limits of like what the tech could truly do. But like he basically says that if the PS5 Pro does 4K, roughly 80 to 90 frames, if they can get the PS6 to 4K 120, like that's gonna be good enough for a lot of people. It's gonna be a remarkable improvement, right? When you consider the PS4. So yeah, this is going to feel like a good jump, even if you were on PS5, right? Like especially with like ray tracing and all that stuff as it gets more and more prominent. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I
um
think the other thing you need to look at is like the math that the processor can do too. If
mhm,
you can have, again, this is a very vague like term, but if you can have more polygons and things can be more like the physics can be more realistic, like people are going to notice that
yep.
too. Things are going to be less rigid and um I think people are going to notice that. Um yeah, I think you make a good point like in 2020, there really wasn't any meaningful hardware uh, innovation going on. But since then, I mean, we've seen Nvidia and AMD get drawn into this AI arms race. So they're
Mhm.
getting, I mean, their stocks are, I think, I don't know, I would like to see what they were in 2020, but I think AMD was below $100 and Nvidia may have also been below $100. And now they're both in, three, four, 500. I don't remember offhand. Um, So those companies have seen insane amounts of growth because of AI, and now they can kind of use that cash flow and two that innovation to these what we'll call lower end processors, and they're going to be way cheaper than they've ever been because it's not like they're not pulling PC chips off the shelves anymore. These
Right.
consoles, they're going to be their own thing. They can be optimized a little better. Um, and again, I think we're just kind of reaching a place where there's actual innovation in computer hardware again. And so we can have something super high performing for super cheap.
Mhm. just to touch on your stock thing real quick, Nvidia in August of 2020 was $11.56. It's now $183.10. And AMD
And
was,
I think they've done a stock split too.
Yeah, and AMD. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so I say though it's probably even like proportionally higher than that.
Right. And then AMD, to your point, you're right. They were at $81 this time in 2020, and now are 174, 175.
Yeah.
So almost doubled theirs. So yeah. Crazy. Right?
Yep.
Like,
can you go back to 2019? Just because I want to do pre-pandemic.
Let's see. For AMD, if I go, what do you want? Like January 2019? August 2019?
Yeah, whatever. I don't think it really matters.
Best I can do with my finger is September 6th. It was at $30. And Nvidia, I mean, Nvidia would have probably been like, please hold, August 2019, $4.
Yeah.
So yeah, just insane, absurd. So that's all the main console, right? So already you got me in. You know, you're telling me $500 for this console that's going to be 3 times as powerful as the thing that I probably never really needed in the first place, but because I love PlayStation and video games so much, I had to have it, and I don't regret it by any means, but you know, from a holistic view, right? Unnecessary is a pretty good word that I think you used. Now you have this whole handheld situation, which is very interesting. And some of the things here to call out. Canis includes a micro SD slot, an M.2 SSD slot, haptic vibration, dual mics, and a touchscreen. A diagram states that the USB-C port has video out capabilities.
Wow.
You're looking at a Switch competitor, you know, plain and simple. This isn't a portal. This is a portable console. Again, he calls out that it's going to be roughly half the performance, but it is going to, be, capable of playing PS5 and PS4 titles, as well as PS6 then as well. This isn't like the PSP or the Vita in the sense that it's going to have handheld specific games, I don't think. I guess maybe there will be, but I think the idea is that it's supposed to be, generation agnostic.
Yeah. More like a Series S.
Exactly.
What they're going for there.
Yep,
yeah.
Exactly. Really, really cool. I think you and I were talking about, I don't think we said this during the podcast, but I was kind of saying to you that it's going to be Xbox's handheld, right? But that's mostly because it's just coming out later. So it's going to be a little more updated in its tech while still being, cost efficient. But more calls out here that like it's not a powerhouse, which I think is kind of evident by the fact that like it is technically going to be lesser than the PS5 in some sense, but man, it's great to see. It's really cool that like they're also potentially putting together this like way of devs having an idea of like what to target through this like low power mode. Pretty exciting. It again, as a whole, this like PS5 generation just feels like a very necessary stepping stone in some sense. And it just feels like if you had a PS5, you fall into that, like you fall into this, the category of like an early adopter for any sort of tech, right? And the PS6 is going to be, to your point, like the true like next generation experience that we didn't really get with this current generation. And I think like a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff really points to that kind of being the case, which is, I don't know, really exciting.
Yeah, I can't say that I was this excited for the PS5 or like this era. You know, when we first started getting leaks, like I think we kind of knew from the start it was going to be a marginal upgrade, and the companies were treating it that way, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there really was no pomp and circumstance. They just kind of announced the consoles, and that was that. Like I know that um, Mark Cerny did his whole, you know, nerd
Yeah, I
breakdown,
was gonna
but
say he was real fucking excited.
yeah, and it's great. Like I'm not discounting that it isn't an upgrade, but it's not
Yeah.
like a person, like you said, like nobody knows what the fucking RDNA core is.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares. Like we just want to see the games. We want to see what
Mm-hmm.
the games look like. We want them to look better. And I know that we are, you know, my statement's a little hypocritical here because we're, you know, solely talking off of, you know, potential hardware, and I feel like I need to preface that with potential because this
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, one source so far. But
Mm-hmm.
um the fact that it does feel like such an upgrade, and we know that hardware, like I said, has gotten better in the last 6 years. It's, I mean, it's jumped an insane amount. Um, I'm really excited. I'm really excited the handhelds are back, and um, it feels like the old days.
Mm-hmm. Really
And also,
does.
I can't believe that we're already talking about PS6, but in reality, you know, like we could be seeing an announcement next year.
Yeah, it's really not that crazy. It feels crazy, I think, just because I don't know. The time of 2013 to 2020 just felt so much longer than 2020 to right now has, which
hmm
obviously is less time. That is how time works. But um yeah, I mean it's on track, right? Like this is how console cycles have gone with, PlayStation and Xbox, right? For the most part you get the 7 years. PS4 got a much longer runway than is normal.
hmm
I think uh I would expect the PS5 to have a smaller runway, but who's to say? The PS4 tech is still obviously good, like they're good enough or comparable enough. But again, I think there's going to be a harsher or quicker cutoff, um, just because we are getting, what seems to be a more meaningful jump. But yeah, it's a good thing to call out that like this is all still just very potential. I mean, any number of things could obviously change. This is just like proposed as of right now, and some of the documents are older from when, Sony first struck this deal with AMD. So obviously, any number of things could change. We could end up not even
Yep.
getting a handheld, for all we know. So, but as of right now, this is where things are trending, and you know, judging by how close we are to, like you said, potential announcements and stuff, there's decent chance that a lot of this ends up holding true, which is
Yep.
again pretty exciting. Any other thoughts on these potential consoles?
No, I'll be interested to see what we hear from Xbox coming up too. Not that we heard this from PlayStation, but hear about
Mm-hmm.
Xbox coming up because I mean, we know we're getting another Xbox console, but does it feel a little hopeless to you?
um, only if only for the reason that I'm so in the PlayStation ecosystem.
Yeah. I don't know, like I'm actually excited for a next gen PlayStation, like a next gen Xbox. I'm like, eh.
Well, I also think like with how Xbox has really, set their course, I think any like specific hardware from them is, yeah, not nearly as exciting, because
Yeah.
it doesn't feel necessary from how Xbox has set themselves up, which is, good or bad, however you want to
Yeah.
take that.
They're doing things differently now.
Right.
That's fine.
PlayStation, like new hardware is necessary, right? Like
Right.
Nintendo, new hardware is necessary. It's kind of the cool thing I think about Xbox and how they've kind of set themselves apart. So it's one of those things where it's like I'm very intrigued by it, but yeah, I mean the concept of is it hopeless? Maybe, maybe. Um, I don't know. There's so
They're
many
apparently
opportunities
doing
for them.
better than it seems.
Hmm.
So I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be an interesting dynamic where you've got PlayStation and Nintendo as like the classic console model, and then Xbox doing whatever Xbox wants to do. So should
Yeah,
be interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
all I got.
cool. Well, that'll do it for this week's episode. You can head over to the YouTube channel and let us know your thoughts on both Orion and Canis, the two secret consoles for PlayStation. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. And as always, thank you so much for listening. If you could share the podcast with a friend, that would be greatly appreciated. And we will talk to you next week.